It's a big issue. And for more now on President Trump becoming the chair of the Kennedy Center, we're joined by Keira Hart-Mendoza. She is the founder and artistic director of UpRooted Dance, which has performed at the Kennedy Center, as well as a number of other venues here in Washington, D.C., and I presume the surrounding area as well. Keira, it's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
In a million years, I never would have thought we'd have been talking about this. But during Trump's first administration, he steered clear of the Kennedy Center. He didn't get involved. He didn't attend the Kennedy Center honors ceremony. How surprised were you that he quickly purged the center of its leaders and cultural base and moved in just to take it over and kind of cast it in his image?
I think all of us here in the DC area and across the nation have been incredibly surprised by this move. Again, we think of the president in charge of many things, but not in charge of the arts here in the DC area. So many of us are wondering, what are his qualifications and why would he make such a move?
And where it's going. I think a lot of people wonder that, because despite the way the administration is portraying the array of performers, it seems like the Kennedy Center always had this broad at times, mainstream, but also pushing the boundaries, which is something arts people argue should do, something for everyone.
Right, absolutely. You think about the arts, and I think about it as a democratic practice. It's our freedom of expression. We express ideas, we bring people together in community to witness and engage with these ideas. We hope that individuals will take our art and talk about it after the shows. So art has always been a way to foster conversation, education, engagement, civic community.
Okay, there have been a lot of protests, and I'm curious how that's been going. But also the MAGA world has responded and saying that we need 4 years of Lee Greenwood and Kid Rock. And I'm not making that up. I read that on social media earlier. What's your response to that?
I think there's a place for all voices in the arts. The arts have always been a place to question the norms. Artists make a lot of developments, just like the scientific community, pushing the boundaries of what we are presented with on the daily basis. So again, I think about art as our First Amendment right to express different or contrary ideas, popular to the norm.
What does this mean? What kind of shift, what does this shift mean for programming this year and perhaps throughout this entire administration at the storied center? And not taking anything away from Trump supporters, but this has always been a jewel, simply away from partisan politics that simply plague the city.
Yeah, I don't work directly at the Kennedy Center, so I can't speak to how this will directly impact programming. I have heard that individual artists are pulling out, and that other events have been canceled. So this is, of course, so sad to hear. Artists work very hard, and we rely on public funding, public support. We rely on our audience members, donors. As artists, we are kind of like civil servants, trying to serve our community, bring people together, like I said. And that's why we staged this peaceful dance protest on President's Day on Monday. We just wanted to bring people together and peacefully stand our ground and say, we're here. Even if we will not be supported by the Kennedy Center, we will continue to make art, we will continue to gather, and we will continue to make our work.
Yeah, and obviously, as you mentioned, you're not on the board or don't work at the Kennedy Center, but are you concerned about some of these decisions that have been made that are going to affect theater, music, and art here in Washington, D.C.? Grants, DEI policies, censorship concerns. And I'm curious because I've read that you performed outside of this area in the DMV as well. So do you think it's going to affect beyond the Beltway, perhaps reaching up to New York and Hollywood? Could it have a ripple effect there?
Definitely. I think this will have a ripple effect I think also this is an opportunity for other institutions, other artist centers, cultural centers to pick up the slack. I hate to say it, we would love to be supported by our Washington, D.C. institutions. However, artists always find a way. We will seek other forms of funding, grant writing, fundraising, donorship, patronage. So, I think we're all going to get creative during this time, just like we did during COVID, where we had to kind of pivot and figure out how do we keep doing what we do best. It might just be a little bit different.